Hey. Hey, Tanya, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. All right, y'all. We gonna have a good discussion tonight. I'm gonna let a couple more people join us. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening. Let's get something started this evening. So I have a purpose, hey, for tonight, right? And can you guys hear me? Just let me know that you can hear me because I am streaming on multiple platforms. So I need to know that you guys can hear me. Tanya, can you hear me? Thank you. All right. So introduction. Who am I? Dr. Ebony, right? The healer, a nurturer, a mother, a nurse, a wife, a child of God, a woman of God. And so God told me to jump on here tonight and be intentional about the discussion that we are getting ready to have. Okay. And that discussion is going to go deep because there's a lot of us that are carrying the wounds, right, from our past. And we are carrying those wounds with us in the present and into our future. And so this discussion tonight is specifically, intentionally talking about the healing in our stories, right? And so what do I mean by the healing? We all have a story. We all have a story to tell, but how do we tell it? Or do we tell it? Sometimes we suffer in silence and we sit and we make sure that we put that thing behind our minds, right? And we keep going. We're living in a world where we have to continue to keep going and keep pushing. But what about really dealing with our situations, including our past traumas, healing from them, talking about it, and actually getting to the point where we are not only healed, but we're healing other people. And so that is what I want to relay to you all tonight. Hey, my brother. Hey, Will, how are you? And so it just was something that I had to do tonight. Now, last night, right, I was on and we had this powerful discussion, but tonight, I want to open up some doors. There are some wounds that need to be healed, right? There's a lot of people that are holding on to some stuff, and it's baggage, it's weight, and it's weight no longer to let it go in order for us to move into what it is that God has called for us to do. And so my book, The Grit, the Grind, and the Glory, was written to tell my story, right? This is a tell all. And what it did for me was it allowed me to heal in the way that I needed to heal. Okay. Understand, we all go through this journey. Hey, my brother. Hey, Roscoe. We all go through this journey called life, and it's going to be different for all of us, right? But for me, I had to write it on paper and let the world know in my book my story, because this has healing power, right? It healed me to just let it out. And nobody can change my story. Nobody can tell me that this is not my truth, my story. And so I just want to read something to you tonight from my book, page 14. If you have it, you already know where I'm coming from. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Now that is Jeremiah 1:1. So I didn't make that. That is scripture. And so this entire story, my story, I was already created for this, right? And the same for you. So this is not about me. This is about us, because when I win, you win, we all win. But let me go on to share part of this story with you. And so it reads, my mother had a couple relationships with a few guys. Throughout my adolescent stage, but still maintained her job and would go back and forth between working first, second, and third shift. Sometimes when she would be working, I was with one of my aunts and her two girls. I would also be with our next door neighbor after school until my mom got off work, which could easily be sometimes around 12 midnight. I disliked the fact that she had a relationship with a guy who was very toxic. He beat on her really bad, and that was my first encounter with domestic violence. She even got pregnant by him, yet, due to all the stress and physical abuse, she ended up having a stillborn child. The baby was delivered with the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. She named him Oren, which was in Hebrew. There were a few miscarriages between Oren and I, and it was hard for my mom to conceive. Her boyfriend then got into what was thought of to be a cult. We wore these big white turbans on our heads, and my mom was in the traditional church for a short period of time before she separated from it to follow this particular religious sect. We couldn't eat pork, wore long dresses, and prayed 2 to 3 times a day facing the east. As I got older, I wondered why I was with Granny so much. I can remember many times where I'd be home with my mom and she was getting beat on by her boyfriend. I would be in my bedroom with a pillow over my head because I could hear him yelling and punching my mom and throwing her up against the wall. I could hear her screaming, hollering, and crying. This would go on for hours and hours. I would see her the next morning and she would have a black eye and or her lip was swollen and busted. She would wear sunshades to try to cover it up. This happened all the time. There was an occurrence where they were fighting in the kitchen one late night and I came out and jumped on his back. And when I jumped on his back, he struck me with his elbow and I flew across the kitchen. I got hurt and I was just crying and crying. And at that point, my mom then became very abusive to me. And that really scared and traumatized me. Even to this day, I won't really spank my children because of the abuse that I had to endure. And I'm talking about really getting my ass beat with belts to where whips were left on me, y'all. I went to school with whips on my body and could barely sit. I remember even telling Granny, who then told my dad, you know, this girl done whipped this child and left whips on her. Shortly after, the county workers came to the house to question me in front of my mom, but nothing happened. And as soon as they left, I got my ass beat again for even daring to tell. My mom and I talked about it when I was a little older, around 12 years old. And I'm like, why did you beat on me? I was very, very, very good. I was a straight A student. See, she said it was because her mother beat her and her siblings, and that's all she knew. I'm almost a perfectionist, honestly, but the beatings would even happen if I didn't write perfectly straight on the lines of my homework. And like I said, it was like a mommy dearest type thing. If I didn't write perfectly, made a mistake, or didn't spell something right, she would take it, ball it up, throw it out, and I would get a beating. I would then have to do it over. She didn't care, even if it meant me staying up to 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning to complete it. On top of my homework, if I was on punishment, I would have to write literally 1,000 times whatever sentence she gave me to write, and she would write the sentence across the top. It would be intentionally a very long sentence. I would try to write each word straight down and just do it like that. But when she saw that, I got my ass beat. My older cousin would try to help me write some of the sentences out because she felt bad for me, but my mother would see it, that it was not my handwriting, and I would get my ass beat all over again for that, with belts, with extension cords, and it's left whips on my body, talking about growing pains, right? My mother was so strict, she wouldn't even let me pledge the allegiance because she was a part of this religious organization, and that caused a big tiff with the school I was in. By then, the school system was not understanding of this, and it made it hard for me as a kid. The school and my mother then agreed that I would just stand, but I couldn't lay my hand on my chest and recite the pledge. For my 5th grade pictures, she had me dress up kind of like in the traditional garb. I had my head completely wrapped up in a white turban, no hair showing. I had to wear an all white dress down to my ankles, and all the kids were laughing at me. I didn't know how to explain it as a 10-year-old girl. I just knew that it was what my mom did and what I had to do. We didn't celebrate holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving. My mother said they were pagan holidays designed by the white man to keep the black man suppressed and in poverty. These various traumas caused issues with me, however, in how I associated with men because of what I saw my mother go through and my father being absent. I believe it also contributed to me being an adaptive perfectionist. And I'm very hard on myself. My grades in school were all 90s or above, so I was always on the high honor roll. I was very smart as a child and took my education very seriously. In my home, if I made a grade of a 95, my mother would ask, why didn't you get 100? That mommy dearest treatment included me, made me feel like I could always do better. I remember the kids in my elementary school and in my middle school would look at one another's grades and try to figure out who had the highest grades. I felt it. If another had 100%, then I could do it too. And if I didn't, I was very disappointed and upset with myself. I feel like that was instilled in me from my mother's raising as a drill sergeant, being so strict and so militant. But at this point, I became an overachiever. What is the point of this, right? Me reading these few paragraphs to you in my book. The point of it is the childhood traumas, right? The things that we do to our children, the things that we do in front of our children, and us not understanding how we are instilling those wounds, right? Those pains and those hurts in our kids. So being an adult now, right? Being beaten, being whooped. And I'm talking about for every little thing. How many of you leave in a chat if you know you got your ass beat? I'm not talking about whoopings. I'm not talking about a conversation. I'm talking about extension cords. I'm talking about you being the best child that you can be, and still it wasn't enough. And so what does that cause inside of us, right? It causes us to be at a place where we feel hurt at a young age. We feel abandoned at a young age. We feel grief and pain at a young age, and we can't process it. We can't process it. Snow said, that was me. And so at 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, how do you process that? And then what you do is you carry that, right, with you into your adolescent years. And then you carry it with you into your adult years. And then you realize, right, when you turn 30 and 40, why was I relating to men the way I did? Maybe because my father wasn't in my life. Why did I relate to people this way? Maybe because I didn't feel like I was enough because of something that happened to me in my childhood, right? And so how do we get ourselves to the point where we heal? So I never really talked about this. I never really talked about it. As you see, what did I say? I contacted my grandmother, and my grandmother contacted my father, right, which was her son. And then he, right, contacted DFACS. But what happened back then, right? Y'all know when you contacted the authorities on your parents, what happened? You really getting your ass beat now. And that is what happened. And so it started these wounds inside of me to where, again, to this day, right, as an adult, I feel like I have to be a perfectionist. But that can be a good and that can be a bad. That can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. But as a child, how do you process this? You feel like you're never enough. No matter what you do, your mother is still going to come and you're going to get your ass beat. Talking about your story. I'm telling y'all, it's so deep. It's so deep that we have to talk about it. It's healing in the power of you telling your story. If I never wrote this book to release all of this, another person, right, could read it and say, you know what? I've been through the same thing, Dr. Ebony. But if I never wrote this book, the healing would never have started inside of me, because I was carrying this thing. I was carrying this thing and nobody knew, y'all. Nobody knew. And so what I do now is I get on stages and I talk about it. I talk about it and I let it out. You know, there's a part in this book where I talk about being molested at a young age. Come on, somebody. Do you know how many of us, right, growing up, it just always happened? It was a family member, the ones that you were supposed to trust. My God, at a young age, how do you process that? How do you process that? And then you carry it with you, right, until your teenage years. And then you wonder why you're hypersexual. Come on, somebody. You wonder why. Because I was introduced to something that I didn't ask to be introduced to, because I was violated at a young age. And so you carry this on until your adolescent years. You become hypersexual, and then you become a teenage mother at 14 and 15 and 16 years old, all because of the traumas that you dealt with at 5 and 6 years old. Come on, somebody. I know somebody can relate. This is why we have to tell our truth and not care, right, about who is going to be bothered by it, because it's my story. And you can't tell me that my story is not my truth. And so for me to go through the pains and the hurts that I had to go through, right, being pregnant, having abortions, come on. I had to first deal with it. That's number one. How do we get to the healing lab? We deal with it and say, yes, it happened. There's many of us that suffer in silence and we don't talk about it. And then when we do, it's such a hurtful place, right, for us to go back into that area and that period of our lives. It's such a hurtful place, but we must journey back. In order for us to go forward, we must journey back. Welcome to the Push Brunch. We have to go back. And we have to let that devil know this thing can no longer hurt or hinder me from going forward. Because what happens is, somewhere in your life, multiple times, even when you become successful, that thing, right, that was hurting you and plaguing you, it comes back up. It surfaces back up because the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And so it comes back up, right? Right at the time where you thought, my God, I was over this. This was 10 years ago. This was 20 years ago, but it surfaces back up. And so in order to stop it, right, from surfacing, we deal with it. So when this book was written, the birth of the grit, the grind, and the glory, it can never surface back up. Nobody can ever say, oh, but I thought you did this. I already told the world. Oh, but she did that. I already told the world. And that's why it's important for you to be the master and the author of your story. Of course, God gets the glory, right? But you are the author. Did you see whose face is on there? Of your story. And I'm here to tell you, it's time for you to tell it. That's where the healing comes, people. That's where the healing comes, when you begin to speak about it, right? And it's not only healing for you, it's bigger than you. It's for others. Why is this on bookshelves? Why is this in Amazon and Barnes and Noble? It's for others. I've already healed. I'm already healed, sis. But guess what? It's so many people that has gone through the same exact things, and they don't know how to get through it. They don't know they can see the other side. They don't know it's healing on the other side. They're scared to tell it because maybe that person that had them hindered and held back is still doing the same thing to them today. There is healing on the other side. Tell your story. Get freedom for you. Release it. Release it. It is so much power in it. My God. And y'all, this is not just for women. This is for all of us, right? It's just my niche is for women. My niche is for women. Because why? I'm a woman. I'm a mother. You know, I didn't know. I wasn't always married. I wasn't always living the way that I live, the lifestyle that I have now. And so it's important for me to share that story, right? Hey, release and reclaim your power. Exactly. Let it go. Let it go. And in order to let it go, you got to let it out. Let it out. Let it out. Welcome to the Push Brunch. This is why I am creating a platform for women to let it out. Reclaim your power. It's your power. The enemy wants you to suffer in silence, y'all. He wants you to not talk about it. He wants you to hurt. Reclaim your power. Somebody write power in the chat for me. That word is healing. Just write power in the chat. And so the things that we have gone through as a child, right? We have to talk about it. We have to make sure our children are not plagued by the same stuff and mess, right? These same plagues that we had to deal with. It's important. It is so important. And that's why we can't act like it never happened, because we have to make sure we protect our babies. We have to make sure that we are better parents and we are better stewards, right? We are better shepherds of what God gave us to sustain. Take care of your babies, but first take care of you. Go through the process of healing. And so I have a few books, you know, that I read. This one here, Woman, Thou Art Healed and Whole, a 90-day devotional journey by T.D. Jakes. And yes, y'all, tonight I'm reading this to you because it's power in your story and it's healing in your story. And what I wanted to share with you all was two things, right, from this book. And it says, it's entitled Your Healing Journey. And it says, even though it's impossible to develop selective amnesia, completely forgetting the pain that plagued you, it is truly possible for you to stop the flow of the past poison. The past poison, right? We just talked about that. The plague comes to devour. It comes to eat, right? Eat you up. The events that happen and the fact of your hurt cannot be blotted out from history altogether. So we know we can't just erase it because it happened, right? And we can't do anything about it. However, you can reach into those memories and pull the stingers out so that past poisons ceases to affect your present progress. Come on, somebody. You can reach into those memories, right? That's talking about it. That's dealing with it. And pull those stingers out so that the past poison ceases. What does ceases mean? To stop, to put a halt in it, right? To affect your present progress. Come on, somebody. Already on this journey, you have invited the Holy Spirit into your healing process. You know why? Because you said yes. Somebody type in the chat, say yes. Say yes. When you say yes, you invite the Holy Spirit in. You invite the Holy Spirit in to your healing process, and that's all you need. In doing so, you most likely had to confront some painful memories. Come on. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. I know it's painful. I know you feel shamed. I know you have felt guilt, right? Take this opportunity to soak in the healing waters of God. Relax in his presence. In fact, ask the Lord to let his refreshing waters wash over your past. The hurt, the pain, the rejection, The hidden things you've never told anyone. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to share this with you. Before I got on this live, I prayed and I said, God, use me, right? That's all I have to say. Use me. And he took me right here. Now, as y'all see, I got stickies and stuff right here, but he took me right here. That's intentional. That is what he wanted me to share. It's not rehearsed. It's not recorded. It's not pre-planned. So even as I'm reading this, it's powerful to me because the words that were just spoken out of my mouth correlate with what we're reading. It says the hurt, the pain, the rejection, the hidden things you never told anyone about. Even though the waters of his presence cannot remove the past completely, they can bring healing to the pain. They can render the past ineffective at imprisoning you any longer. So we feel imprisoned by our past. Let me share with you something that I share not only in my book, but I share it when I speak. I share it on social media, right? I have been incarcerated. Dr. Ebony, you've been in jail. I have been incarcerated. Do I talk about it? Yes. Is it in my book? Yes. Do I have a mugshot out there somewhere? Yes. You know why? Because I couldn't let it imprison me any longer. Any longer. It's of my past. My past does not define who I am, right? And many of us make mistakes, right? You could be young, you're just uneducated. You're just making stupid mistakes. But the more you get closer to God, right? You become wiser and you make better decisions because when you know better, you do better. And so me sharing that with the world, Dr. Ebony, you've been incarcerated? Yes. Because there are young ladies that are incarcerated, right? Good evening, Akina. There are young ladies that are incarcerated right now that need to hear you're going to be free. That need to hear that there is freedom even in there, right? Where you're at right now, if you just release and let the Holy Spirit in. So I remember when I was incarcerated, y'all, I was in jail and I was looking out the window. I mean, the window only but so big, right? And so I'm looking out the window and I said, God, and at the time I only had 5 kids. And I said, God, if you would just get me out of here so I can see my kids again, I'd never come back. I will never come back. And these are days, y'all, when I was a single mom and I had my kids, by myself, and it got hard sometimes. And I used to always be like, God, oh God, I just need a babysitter. Oh, I just need these kids to go away. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, right? Just complaining. But when I got in that jail cell and it was just me and God, and I got in that jail cell and I looked out that window, not knowing when I was going to get out, not knowing if I was going to get out, right? I looked out that jail cell window and I said, God, if you get me out of here, I'll never return. I just want to see my babies. 3 days later, I was released. Yes, let's talk about it. 3 days later, 3 days. And so thank you, Snow, I was supposed to spend 10 years, y'all, in jail, in prison, 10 years, because that ain't jail for 10 years. That's prison. I served 3 days just by being in that place of solitude and calling on the name of God. I called him and I said, God, I need you now. And I just want to see my kids. That's all I want to do, God. I just want to see my kids. Yes, your daughter who's over here all the time complaining about these kids. Come on, somebody. Thank you for the badge. Complaining about these kids and saying, God, I can't do this. Just complaining, y'all. But when I got in that jail cell, I said, God, it's just me and you. If you get me out of here, I just want to see my babies. 3 days later, 3 days, I was released. Mm. So sometimes God has to put us in this place of solitude, y'all. Understand, there's a place of solitude. There's no family, there's no friends, right? We feel alone, but you're never alone. We feel alone and abandoned, but you're never alone and abandoned because you have a heavenly Father that fills every void, every need. Mm. 3 days later, I was released to see my children again. And I never spoke those words out of my mouth ever again. All I could do was thank God. That's all I could do, y'all. And so, as I read this to you, I want you to take it all in and reflect on times in your life, even if it's right now, times in your life where you're feeling like you're abandoned and you're feeling like there's nobody there, but you know God is there. You know God is there. It's not over. It's just the beginning. It's a reason. God is so intentional, y'all, on what he does. I would not have this powerful testimony right now if I had not have gone through those seasons in my past. Come on. So follow me on this. Whatever you are going through, right now, it's a part of your story. It's a part of your book, and it is a reason. So what you need to do is give God praise for where you're at right now, right? In this season, in this moment. I don't know what you're dealing with. It's somebody right now. You're dealing with something. It can be an eviction. It can be a conviction. It can be illness, right? It can be a family member. But whatever it is that you're dealing with right now, this is a time to give God praise because it is a reason, baby, for your season. Did I know that back then? No, I didn't. I did not know that back then. But as I was going through this journey, y'all, God was just writing my story, just writing my story. And he kept saying, just keep coming, just keep coming. And now I have the testimony because I passed the test. The process of what you're going through right now, yes, the grieving process, right? What you're going through right now, Snow, there is a reason for this season in your life. But like I tell people all the time, seasons come and go. We never have the same season over again. You will never have summer and summer. Think about it. You'll never have fall and fall, right? Seasons come and go. So this too shall pass. Come on, somebody. When I was going through what I was going through, and I was actually in the storm, did I know that that season was going to pass? No, it felt like forever. It felt like forever. It felt like, God, where are you? Right? But I didn't know that where I'm at right now, it was all due season. Where I'm at right now, it was a part of the process. Come on. Yes, Marsha. It's a part of the process that you got to go through to get to the progress. And so you have to go through whatever season that you're in right now. Do I know? No. But you know, God knows you're in it right now. It is a part of your story. It is a part of your testimony. And all you got to do, yes, no, trust the process, but give God praise through it. See, the devil don't like, right? The enemy don't like when you get God praise because he wants you to say, oh, your God, yeah. Your God, the one that got you evicted, right? Your God, the one that got you diagnosed with cancer, right? Yeah. Your God, right? This God that y'all talking about, the one that got you in the situation that you in, right? And you know what you do? You tell the devil, you ain't nothing but a lie. Get behind me, Satan, right? Because I know that the God that I got is the same yesterday as today. He is going to be in every day. And so what you have to do is give God praise. I am petitioning you tonight. I challenge you tonight to give God praise. Give him praise for where you're at right now. Tell your story. I am building this platform for us. I am building this platform for all of us because we have to come together to tell our stories. This is a different platform. This is something that hasn't been done before, right? A platform for women to be able to come together and talk to each other to where we're talking the same language and we're understanding, right? From whatever area of life that you're in. It doesn't matter, sis. We're coming together. And we're coming together stronger than ever. So at that point, the devil cannot intercede because we are coming together so strong as sisters. He don't even have no place here. No place, right? Because it's for us. We are going to change the kingdom just by telling our stories, unlocking that thing inside of you that's been holding you back. Let's keep reading. So use this moment to take authority over the pain of your past. Come on, somebody. Take authority. Take authority. Don't let what happened keep you in a place of fear anymore. Let me go back because I don't think y'all really hearing me. Use this moment to take authority. God says, take authority. Do you know who you are and whose you are? Do you know who you are and whose you are? My God. You know, it reminds me of when my children were young, right? I didn't have siblings. As you know, I'm an only child. But when my kids were young, or you might have been through this, where you get into a fight and if somebody is outside, this is back when kids were going outside, right? And somebody's outside and you getting into a fight. And what do you say? Don't make me call my sister. Oh, let me go get my brother, right? Come on. I know y'all know what I'm talking about because I had an older cousin that I used to call her my sister. Don't let me go get my sister because they're older than you, right? You thinking they can whoop everybody, but you wasn't even afraid. Come on. You wasn't even scared because all you had to do was go get your sister or your brother. And that is the same power that you have to call on God when you need him. Because you tell the devil, don't make me get my father. Don't make me get my father. I'm not afraid of you because you know who my father is. And once you know who your father is, you got to know who you are. Take authority. Take it. It's yours to take. He has given it to you. Take the authority over the pain in your past. Don't let what happened keep you in a place of fear anymore. We know that yesterday still has a stronghold over today when we are still tormented and haunted by past events. Even though you are in the present and the past is over, the past still maintains a stronghold as long as you continue to welcome its influence. So what does that mean? Do not welcome the influence of the past. Do not welcome that feeling of pain. Do not welcome that feeling of grief. Do not welcome that feeling of abandonment. Don't welcome it. That's all it is. God did not give us the spirit of fear. So don't welcome it. You have the power. Take authority. Decide today that enough is enough. Decide today that enough is enough. By his stripes, I am healed. By his stripes, I am whole. And once you take that authority and you command and you demand, right? You already know you have the power. Decide today that enough is enough. Break your agreement with the past. So how many of us have made agreements with the past? Do not welcome the influence. Don't welcome it. Don't welcome that spirit in you. Don't welcome it in your house. Don't welcome it anywhere. It has to flee. It has to go. Do not have an agreement with your past. Do not have an agreement with your past. That means you're welcoming it. You want to rehearse it. You want to remember it. Even though you cannot make the past disappear, you can break its hold over your life. Whether you feel anything change or not, declare out loud, Father, I break my agreement with the past in Jesus' name. Right now, I ask for the cleansing blood of Jesus to cover every area of my life that is still under the tormenting influence of what has already happened. That's powerful. That's powerful. I declare that the past is over and today is a new day. Today is a new day. I declare that the rest is peaceful and my sleep is sound. No longer are you awakened with nightmares, with bad dreams, with being haunted by your past. I decree and I declare that my rest is peaceful and my sleep is sound. And I'm going to take that even further because rest and sleep is two different things, y'all. I'm putting together this brunch and I am not getting rest, right? You know how it is when you lay down and you go to sleep, but you're not resting, right? And so it says, I declare that my rest is peaceful and my sleep is sound. I declare that my thoughts are without fear and anxiety. No more. No more. I declare that my healthy relationships today are not hindered by unhealthy relationships of my past. So what tends to happen is, good evening. What tends to happen is we are welcoming those same spirits, right, from our past. And then that same person that entered our lives when we were a child, you're welcoming that same spirit now when you're an adult. Release it. Release it. Say today, no more. That's it. I declare that my healthy relationships today are not hindered by unhealthy relationships of the past. Thank you, Jesus, for setting me free. You are free indeed. Y'all, this is deep. This is deep because so many of us have wounds. You got to give yourself grace. So many of us have wounds, right? And the devil comes and he's picking our wounds. He's just picking them. And what happens when you pick a wound? It begins to bleed again, but no more. Yes, you may have that scar there. I have a scar on my arm from an accident I was in. It reminds me of that accident, right? But does it hurt anymore? Nah. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. There's no pain there anymore. The feeling came back in my arm because you know what God did? He healed me. He healed me. And guess what? My arm is still working. That extremity is still going. I didn't lose a thing. I didn't lose a thing. Temporarily, I lost the feeling in my arm, right? Because that's what happens when we're wounded. That's what happens when we're hurting. Temporarily. What you're going through right now is temporary. That pain that you're feeling is temporary. The healing is coming. You have to know that the power in the healing, you have it. Just decree and declare no more. No more hurt, no more pain. You are the author of your story. Write the book. Write the book. And regardless of how people may feel about it, it's your story. It's your truth. And you first have to heal inward. Inside here, you have to heal. It's mandated. You have to heal. Say that to yourself. I need healing, right? No longer will you go another day, not another day, and you are not healed. You deserve that. You deserve to be healed. You deserve to be free from the demons, right? From the witchcraft that's going on today. You deserve to be free. You deserve the healing. Call it down. You have the authority. You have the power. Do you know you have the power? Do you know who you are? Do you know how tough and how bad you are? My God, do you know who you are? Stop looking at everybody else and look in the mirror and know who you are. Know how great you are. I didn't know that I was Dr. Ebony 15 years ago when I was homeless in my car, but God knows, right? He created me in my mother's womb. I was already ordained and designed to be Dr. Ebony, but I didn't know when I was homeless. I didn't know when I was on welfare. I didn't know. I didn't know when I was sitting in a jail cell who I was. Know who you are. Know who you are today. You are victorious. Yes, you are. Know who you are. Those things that you are going through is temporary. It's temporary. That too shall pass. No season comes twice, right? Because after winter, the spring shall come. And so I plead with you tonight to tell your story. To tell your story. Release those soul ties. Tell your story. Get the healing that you need. Lay hands on yourself if you need to. Do whatever it is that you need to do, but tell it. Because the healing that you get, the deliverance that you get, that's what you need to walk in your gift and in your purpose. Don't let it hold you back. No more. No more. Break it tonight, that agreement. No season comes twice. Remember, Dr. Ebony told you that. Does it? So this too shall pass. You know, we come into a new year and we say, this is my year. You know, this is my year. Well, claim it, sis. Claim it, King. This is your year. And so what does that mean, right? Because faith without works is dead. What does that mean? What do you need to do to put the work in to make this your year? We ain't even got to wait for the year. This is your day. This is your hour. This is your minute. Decree and declare it. Claim it. Stop looking at everybody else and what they're doing. I cannot stress enough to stay off social media because it is nothing but an illusion. These people are not showing you the truth. They are not telling you the truth. I promise you. I sit around them all the time. And even I'm perplexed because I thought, they're not telling you the truth. It's an illusion. And so what you need to do is work on you. Work on you. Don't look at what somebody else has. Don't look at what somebody else is posting. Work on you. Start with healing so that when you get to your destiny and you get to your purpose, can't nothing hold you back, right? Again, listen to me. If I had known what I was going through would have brought me into where I'm at right now. If I had just known that, I didn't know. And sometimes God doesn't reveal it to you. He just says, keep going, keep pushing, right? And that's why I'm encouraging you to keep walking, to keep going, because it's a reason for your season. But if I had known that, right? If I had known that, I probably would have stopped. I probably would have got a little beside myself and said, oh, I'm going through this because I'm going to be Dr. Ebony. But God kept me in a humble place to where I had nobody but him. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was him. So that's why you don't know, right? Why you're going through the things that you're going through. You don't need to know. You need to trust. You need to trust. And you need to keep going, keep pushing, keep praying. Pray until something happens. Welcome to the push brunch. Keep praying. And so my whole purpose tonight is to, even for me, y'all, to do something outside of the box. And I keep saying to myself, you have a powerful testimony, Ebony. You have a powerful gift. Share it. You don't have to wait to get on somebody's stage. You can share it behind this little device called a cell phone. And so I wrote in my journal that I was going to go live twice a day. Y'all, I have not done it, have not committed to it. And this is the real, okay? Have not committed to it. But God is pulling me in a direction where he's saying, even tonight, as I'm cooking dinner for my family, I'm watching the clock. Even yesterday, when I had my sister make the flyer, I said, let the people know that I'm coming. Because yesterday, nobody knew. But I said, let the people know that I'm coming, right? And as I prepared, I'm making dinner and I'm clock watching, right? And I'm making dinner and I'm clock watching because God said, you're going to show up. Now, it was easy for me to just fall back and say, nah, not today. I don't got time. I got to finish eating. I haven't even eaten my dinner yet because I had to come to serve. This is what he's called me to do. And I have to be obedient, right? And walk in it. You know why? Because it's my story. It's the gift that he has given me. What is your gift? Tell me in the chat. What is your gift? Do you know your gift? Do you know your purpose? What is your gift? Somebody tell me in the chat. What is your gift? I'm waiting. What is your gift? What is your gift? I'm waiting for somebody. First person, anybody. What is your gift? That thing that you know is your purpose. Tanya said to share my truth. Yes, that is your gift. My gift is mentoring young women. Come on. Come on. That is your gift. That is what you give. We give gifts. That is what you give naturally. Naturally, you just give, right? My gift is to be a giver. Just naturally. Just service. Just sacrificing, right? And so as I prepared dinner tonight for my family, I said, let me go down here in my office and do what it is that God told me to do. And that was to come and have this conversation with you all. And I thank you every time that I'm on live because I don't take it lightly. I don't take it lightly. This ain't a game, y'all. This ain't a game. We can use this app if we want to for other purposes, but it's not a game. It's a way to reach everybody, right? And to be careful in what you're saying, to be careful in what you're putting out there. I'm talking about it's soul snatchers out here. Like it's real. And here's the thing. It don't even want us. It want our kids. It want our babies. It wants our lineage. My God. Like, so I thank y'all for tuning in with me and joining in with me, right? Because we as a people have to tell our stories, and it's ours. It's ours. In order for us to heal, right? In order for us to heal in the kingdom, it starts with ourselves. Okay. I love all y'all that have bought badges. Like, I am so excited because this is like my third time going live and people buying badges, but it starts here, right? Nobody, when I read these books from TD Jakes, it reminds me that thank you, Dr. Ebony, for building this platform. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for trusting me, right? But I'm reminded what TD Jakes started with a couple of people in his church. How many of y'all know that? A couple of people, right? But it was a process that he had to go through. It didn't just happen overnight. It didn't just happen overnight. This ministry is not going to just build overnight. It could, by the power of God, it could. Tomorrow we can wake up and it's thousands of us, right? It's thousands of us together and I believe it. But even if it starts with one, if it starts with us that are here, that really believe and that's really wanting to get healing and to give healing, right? Through the power that is destined and given to us, we can change nations. We can change nations. I even told my husband, I said, I don't know if I'm ready for this, right? Well, you better get ready. And if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. But Ebony got to get ready because this is powerful. It's a movement. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than what I knew 15, 20 years ago, right? You are saving people's lives. And so whatever that gift is that you have, I'm challenging you tonight to go forth and prosper and do it. And don't let anything stop you from doing it. And I know that's easier said than done. But if you do the things that we talked about tonight, right? If you do those things that we talked about tonight, I'm telling you, it's life changing. Tonight, you decreed, you declared no more. No more suffering, no more pain, no more hurt, no more grief. Do not let that spirit in. It's not welcomed anymore. And I can't wait to see how many of you even start writing your books if you haven't already. And I'm not talking about any type of book. I'm talking about the book of your life, your memoir, your memoir, the book of your life. Let's go. Healing, power in your story. And so I thank you all because Dr. Ebony has to eat and we're going to do this and we're going to talk more and more and more because this push brunch, which I have some of my sisters on here tonight, this push brunch is going to be amazing. Already it's amazing. I can't even tell you like everything that God has revealed to me. I mean, I know it's so much more. It has not been revealed to me. Thank you. We love you. Thank you so much. I love y'all. I really do. Sometimes I don't even believe in myself, Tanya. Snow, sometimes I don't believe in myself. Miss Hubbard, sometimes I don't even believe in myself. And here it is, you're a coach. Here it is, you're a mentor. Here it is, you're a speaker. And sometimes, I have to look in the mirror and remind myself of who I am. Or hear other women tell me, girl, you starting a movement. But you know where it started was with me telling my story and me healing. Yes, the push brunch. Please go to my page. If you don't follow me already, please follow me on this platform. I'm on Facebook. But the push brunch, women empowerment brunch, it's not even a brunch, it's an experience. An event has an ending date and a time, and the experience goes on forever. And that is what we are going to do. Come together and have this experience. Of course, we're going to break bread, but we are going to break curses at the same time. Please join me on March 2nd, Saturday, March 2nd, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Austell, Georgia. The flyer is on my page. The flyer is also in the link in the tickets. It's also on Eventbrite. Please, please, please get your tickets. VIP is already sold out. That is how fast these tickets are selling. I'm telling you, you got to be in the building. It's going to be life-changing. I promise you. The push brunch, March 2nd. And until then, I will see you guys probably tomorrow, same time. If God gives me breath in my body, and she said, I'm about to get my ticket now. You better run. You better run, because every day I wake up, it's cha-ching, more tickets are sold. Praise God. When I ran from this last year and I thought nobody would come. And God is sending them all. The flock is coming. And so we are preparing to do something miraculous in Austell, Georgia, right? And so strongholds will be broken and things that I can't even imagine with my little small-minded self, but allowing God to come in and use that place and use that venue and use those people and those women in that room. It's not just about me, it's about us. Because like I said, when I win, you win, and we all win. So I love you. I love all of y'all. Please go get your tickets now. I know we got a couple weeks, but get your tickets, because once they're sold, they are sold. They are gone. It's only so many people we can have in the room, and that's 100 of us. 100, right? So let's go. Let's do this. Continue to heal. Continue to tell your story. Have your breakthrough. Have your way. Lord, do what it is that is designed to do in your life. And I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Time to eat. How do I do this? Okay, that's not like that. Mhm. Oh, the food's still on the table. I mean, on the stove, right?
Put them in the containers. The upstairs on the counter. I put them in the container.
Everything?
Corn. The corn is the corn contains the bread. I just hid it in the stove, but you had already
In the oven.
Yeah, you had told the boys I'm good.
Mm-hmm.